Tango down.
I got eyes on. Here they come. They're in the field to the southeast.
Roger that!
One historical subject that this kind of reminds me of is the French Revolution.
Uh-huh.
Where I think during the French Revolution, people were just kind of sick and tired of the monarchy specifically, that it very much became a, let's just murder everyone in the monarchy.
Uh-huh.
And anyone even somewhat related to the monarchy. Because the sad thing about the French Revolution is there was a lot of, like, really innocent people that died. Because they had, like, some minor relation to the monarchy.
Right.
And just the people were like, get them! You know, kind of a thing. And I guess for me...
Why am I not seeing this guy?
That's kind of my... That's kind of my thing my comparison, I think.
Like, you're worried that a lot of people could get dragged down with that who have nothing to do with it?
Well, yeah, exactly. And I think when people just get angry in general, which, you know, whether it's understandable or not... Oh,
jeez, I didn't know that guy ran it. Well, how do you get past all my guys?
I don't know. It's like, whether it's understandable or not, I think when people get angry, kind of the groupthink mindset is just, you know... Let's get them! You know, like, people very quickly get into that attitude.
Right.
And to me, that's dangerous.
Uh-huh.
Because it's like, well, yeah, but now we're just going to be dragging in people that have nothing to do with this.
Right.
When your attitude just immediately becomes, let's get them.
Why can't we use a sentry gun or something? That would have been fun here.
I don't know. Do you want to switch out the thermal sniper?
I don't know. Like, I feel like the thermal sniper's good, though, for the people that we can't see, but I can try the Dragunov. That might help me.
So, that's kind of the thing that I think about and kind of my fear, but, I guess my thing with the whole situation is, I find it sad. Like, I'm not in the mindset of, like, this guy deserved it. Because, like, this guy had a wife, he had kids. That's sad. And here's
you're saying it's sad for his family.
Yes. I'm saying, like, his family, whether you got screwed out of insurance or not, his family did not deserve to have their dad or their husband die.
So you're looking at it from how it affected other people.
Yeah, because every death affects people around you. Mm. You know, it's not, unless, like, you are literally a loner, like, literally, you are the only family member you have, you have no friends, you have no work people, whatever, like, you are literally completely alone. Every death affects, I think that's ozone.
Oh.
Every death affects, you know, people around you.
It might be ghosts.
So I look at that and I'm kind of like, that's sad. Because I think his kids were pretty young too.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't think they deserve to not have a dad anymore. You know, like that's just stupid.
Yeah.
But with that being said,
did you see the guy?
Not until it was too late.
This part is ridiculous.
With that being said, well, and actually, I want to say one more thing too in defense of this guy.
Oh, okay. Trying to get me killed?
Yeah. I think that... I do also think that people's frustration with insurance is maybe somewhat misguided in the sense that the CEO of this company can only do so much. You know, if people want to apply for insurance and they get rejected or something like that, I'm going to be honest with you, the CEO is not looking through all these cases, you know what I mean, and making the decision himself.
Right, he's setting policy.
There's teams that are doing this, there's people that are discussing this situation or under him, then they're the ones making the decisions. So to me, it's like blaming the CEO for
everything.
Blaming the CEO for everything, which to me is not totally fair, because that's what we do with presidents, you know, and I don't think that's fair either. Any problem that exists in a country, who's the person that gets blamed? The president. And to me, that's not fair.
Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. How did they get in? I want to say one thing here, which is not to interrupt you, it's more just to add to the information in case you don't know this. I agree to an extent. I don't feel bad for this guy. I'm going to tell you that. This is me. I don't feel bad for him.
Okay.
I feel bad for his family.
Yeah.
Because, like, to me, you know, that's something that I think people are ignoring is, like, you know, and I would feel the same way for, like, you know, if, I feel the same way when, like, a school pew-pewer's family finds out that they did it. As long as they weren't, like, encouraging it or, like, the worst parents ever.
Yeah.
That, like, pushed them in that direction. I still feel bad for those parents. You know why? Because they're, like, waking up. Their life is now hell.
Yeah.
Their kid is gone. Their kid took out all these other kids for no real reason. Except, like, I hurt, so I'll hurt you.
Yeah.
And now that family life is ruined. And I get, like, there's people who are like, well, then why didn't they pay attention and see the signs? It's like, sure, to some extent I get it. And yes, you know, there are definitely groups where, of parents and families where they are definitely partly responsible. It's like, oh, my son, you know, had all these issues, but I was like, I didn't care. It's like, okay, yeah, you didn't pull the trigger, but you basically put the gun in their hand, right?
Right.
Like you, oh, I wanted to get rid of this, sorry. You encouraged it in your own way without encouraging it. And it's like, in that way, I feel like those parents, I don't really feel bad for, because I'm like, this is sad, but like, you created a tragedy here.
Yeah, sure.
But like, with like children, you know, you get to like these little kids, I don't know what to do. Let me try. No, let me try one more time. Let me try one more time. Okay. With children, you get to this thing where it's like, these children didn't choose to be related to that guy.
Yeah.
They just were born.
Mm-hmm.
They're not inherently evil for that. You know, and I think that that's also a trap people get into. It's like, well, they're related to them. They must be bad. And it's kind of like, well, how far are we going to take that? I mean, that's the same reasoning that was like one drop rule type stuff. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, well, you know, I have this problem with black people. This guy's black too. It's like, what? You know what I mean? Like, you're generalizing in a way that doesn't logically make any sense. And that's where I think it becomes dangerous, is like you have children and things like this. I worry about things like that, of like how many people do these things affect. That said, when I'm looking at that guy, the thing that makes me so mad, and the reason I don't feel bad for him, is because he was also responsible for helping to push AI that would automatically basically deny you based on numbers and like probability of getting sick in the future and stuff, so that he could make extra money.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, this is evil. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not going to feel bad for that guy. Like, that guy, you know, I guess, so here's kind of where I view it. When these people who view us as numbers, then something happens to them, I'm kind of like, why shouldn't we view you as a number? Mm-hmm. And I get that the idea is, well, you should be better than them. And I actually agree. Like, morally, you should strive to be better than evil. But it's hard when evil takes advantage of that, right? Like, when evil relies on you to try to be better than it so it can win.
Yeah.
That's something that happens a lot, too, where, like, evil people and evil ideologies, they will rely on you being better than them to beat you. Because they're like, well, there are lines you won't cross. I don't have that. Mm-hmm. And that's where I think, like, this kind of thing becomes very interesting. Like, not... I sound like a psycho where I'm like, oh, yeah, this guy died. Interesting. Right. But it's where it becomes, like, a very interesting discussion, because you're like, well, how do you deal with that? Like, you know, you don't... Like, the American Revolution, you know, that's something you and I champion, right? Like, we say, oh, that's a good thing that happened, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, how sad is that for those British soldiers' families?
Oh, yeah, sure.
And so it's kind of like, well, how far do you take this? You know, like, how far does that pacifism extend?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that to trap you, like, hey, I want your opinion on this. Here's why you're wrong. I'm just saying I think it's like, it becomes a very difficult question to answer and a very difficult conversation to have, because it's, you want to be better than evil, but at what point do you say maybe a little bit of evil is needed for improvement on, like, a certain thing? Now, I want to clarify, when I say that, unfortunately, I have to be very careful, because I don't want someone to, like, point back and say, in their manifesto, this Jay guy got me to do this. Like, I'm not endorsing, like, committing violence against people, but I'm saying in history, there's been times where it was what was needed. Mm-hmm. And that's what I find interesting, is, like, at what point do you... I don't know if I'm safe to go. I think I might be.
No, I think there's a couple snipers still out there.
Really? Okay. at what point are you better at spotting them than me? Because I've taken out most of the guys in the house. That's where I wonder, like, at what point do you say, this is evil to serve the greater good? And it's cringy, but it's kind of like what the assassins say in Assassin's Creed. It's like, we work in the dark to serve the light. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like they'll kill some guy who, is that a villain? Or a villain? Am I an idiot?
I think that's Ozone.
Okay. Well, you already killed him twice, so. At what point, you know, is that okay? Where, like, you have Desmond, you know, in Assassin's Creed 3, it's like he kills Warren Vidic. Well, Warren Vidic was an evil tyrant who wanted to, like, overthrow the entire population and enslave them.
Yeah.
And where I become frustrated is that I feel like so many of these evil CEO people, they hide behind, I have a dog, I have a family, I have a kid, you know, I'm a person. Like, look, I'm human. But then, like, they want to be seen that way. But then the way they treat people is, you're a number. Oh, you're just Jack Smith. I don't care if you die of stage 4 cancer. There's 7 billion people just like you. I don't know you. You're not in my family. Whatever. Can't help you. And it becomes, like, so difficult for me to rationalize, like, at what point, you know, when the system isn't changing things. I guess what I'm getting at is when the system is not fixing it, people are crying out for the system to fix it. The system's like, yeah, actually, we benefit from this, so no. And then your politicians are paid for by these people. You know, like, you have these different lobbyist groups, which I think should be illegal, honestly.
Yeah.
Where it'll be like, oh, yeah, our pharmaceutical company paid $5 million to get this guy elected. Why? Oh, you know why? Because you want him to help you. That's the only reasoning you have. You didn't do it out of the goodness of your heart. You're not like, yeah, our pharmacy company really cares about the country. What happened?
Who is behind me? How did someone get there?
I don't know. You know, like, it's very obvious that you're not doing it for that reason, right?
Yeah.
You're doing it because you want something. And so that's where I get so stressed out with a topic like this, because you're, like, on the one side, I think that what you're saying about people dragging each other down, though, is true, where, like, you lose empathy for the family, and then you're just like that person, you know, who didn't have empathy for those families.
Yeah.
Or you, or even the thing, I'm not going to name her name, even though I know it. Like the person who called the police on the person who did this, right? With the farm, the health insurance CEO. Yeah, McDonald's. Like, it's like you have violent threats going into that location. You have, you know, people threatening that worker. They can't work there anymore.
Yeah.
I get that, like, a lot of people say, like, well, that worker shouldn't have done that. That's, you know, if you want to have that opinion, that's fine. But I'm also thinking, like, okay, well, if my wife was working at her restaurant because she's a server, and she saw someone there who she knew shot someone, like, 5 times, I would be worried for her. Mm-hmm. And you can say, well, no, but that was a targeted thing. They'd never do that. It's like, yeah, but I would be worried around anybody who kills. Like, I am concerned around police officers with guns. Because I'm thinking of what is the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Like, what if this guy goes nuts? Or, like, what if he perceives me reaching for my wallet as a weapon? He's like, I'm going to kill this guy. It's like, I'm scared of that. Like, not like I live my life in fear, but I'm wary. And I try to err on the side of caution. I think at, like, the best, like, the least case scenario, I would say, like, if my wife saw someone like that, I would want her to leave the building. Mm-hmm. You know, it's, like, for her own safety. But I saw people being like, we should end this woman. You know, like, we should...
What?
Yeah, like, we should kill her. Like,
because she turned him in or something? Wow.
Like, I've seen thousands of comments, like, I shouldn't say I've read thousands, but I've seen, like, probably hundreds of comments that are, like, in support of going after her or doing things to her or things like that. And I'm like, well, this is where now you've hit the point that you said of, like, well, now it's not about helping the lower class. It's like, you're like, yeah, and by the way, you betrayed us. Like, you know, because it's like, well, what if that person hypothetically was afraid for their life?
Yeah.
You know, because maybe they, I'm going to make up some sob story. What if this person is from a house that had, like, gun violence problems? So they saw this happen on TV, and then that person comes in, and they're like, I don't want to die, like, you know, and they get terrified.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, at the same time, I think the reason that person turned this person in was for the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I don't even think they're going to get, which that's kind of funny. because they turned him into the wrong tip line or something.
Right. I think it was supposed to be FBI. They did police.
Yeah. So I'm like, in this specific case, you can say, okay, well, they turned him in for the money. They're just like somebody who just wants money. It's like, well, I mean, I want money, but that's not the right reason to do the right thing if you believed it was the right thing. It seems like pretty clear that this person, in my opinion, did it for money. But I'm saying, like, let's say, hypothetically, you had somebody who was just worried about their life. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, and they're like, I don't know what to do. They're probably going to call the police, because whether you trust the police or not, they're not going to be like, now I'm Rambo, I'm going to take this guy down if he, like, you know, draws a weapon or something. They're going to be terrified.
Yeah.
Because they're a McDonald's worker. And so this is where this discussion, unfortunately for me, it's like, I don't understand why things spiral so quickly, where it's like, you go from this guy that I don't feel bad for, just him specifically, to now we're talking about, like, going after people who have nothing to do with that system, really. You know?
Yeah, right.
That's where, to me, it's like, well, this is dangerous. And I guess that's what concerns me about it, is like, if it was just, this is just me, again, not encouraging, if it was just like, hey, you know, these 12 healthcare CEOs that, like, you know, treated people horribly and led to a lot of death, they just went missing, I would be like, oh, okay.
Right.
I don't think I'd be like, sound the alarms, get the dogs, I'm going looking for them. I would just be like, oh, okay. Well, people who had empathy, something bad happened to them. I don't personally, I'm not going to go out and, you know, do that or tell people to do that, but I would probably view that as karma. It's like you're spreading evil, something evil happened to you. What a shock.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like the consequences of your actions.
Right.
But now we're getting into like, well, this person called the police. Get him. I'm kind of like, that's not the same. Like, that's, even if that person's, you know, was selfish and doing it for money, which is like, yeah, you shouldn't do. I'm worried that bloodlust is not, it's not directed. Like, I think people have been kicked around so much. I would say in Western society a lot, where we're fed this bullshit of like, greatest country in the world, it's amazing, you know, you should be thankful and like all this stuff, but then like your life is hard, and then if you say anything about it, people are like, why don't you just leave then if you don't appreciate it? And so like a lot of people are like, okay, well, like, I'm told to pull myself up by the bootstraps, I'm working 80 hours a week and I'm suffering. That's not working. And then on the other side, you have a constant shaming of like, oh, you're white, oppressor, evil colonizer, awful person, you should hate yourself. And so you're getting these conflicting messages. One is, hey, you should be proud of who you are and work hard and you'll succeed, and then you don't. And the others, and that side also often ignores issues, where like it'll be like, hey, this thing matters, and they're like, no. And then on the other side, it'll be like, this black person stubbed their toe, hey, colonizer, why did you put the table there?
Right.
And it's like, what? So like you have these polarized like groups that are like constantly bashing each other, you know, over and over and over and over. And then you have all these people who are caught in the middle who don't know what to think. And then you have an out of control market, like for these different things in like medicine, education, policing, military, that often at best forgets the little guy and at worst completely bends him over. Mm-hmm. And so I'm at a point where I'm like, I'm not surprised, but it concerns me because, like, when you look at things and everybody wants to think they're like Ezio Auditore, they're like, oh yeah, like, look, I'm going to do this and it's going to change everything. It's like, when you look at like the things that people have done in historical movements that worked, a lot of times they either got lucky or it was precise.
Yeah.
It was like a precise change. Like,
okay,
like get rid of this one, break up the banking system. Like, that's a precise change, right? That's like to fix things. Or it'll be like, you know, the U.S. Revolution. It's like some of it was getting lucky, some of it was very targeted precision to make things better. It wasn't just go after everyone. And that's where I think a lot of times anger leads, and I think that there's like righteous anger that makes sense and is fair, but it's like, how is that directed? You know, like, how does that change? Like, my I don't even know what happened.
I got one shot by this like frickin' sniper that's sitting out there. I don't even know what to do differently. That's the thing.
I think if we kill everyone here, I mean, should we stop talking? Would that help you?
No, I think we're fine.
I think he's gone. What if you just push now?
Well, let me kill these people, because these people are going to come in this way.
I don't know, I feel like I'm just rambling, because I was trying to talk because I know you're focusing. But I don't know if what I said really makes sense or not.
And this is just a problem in general with these types of things, is everyone wants, like, a revolution. You know, everyone thinks, like, oh yeah, if we have everything will be a lot better and stuff like that. But first of all, it, like, hardly ever works out that way. Like, revolutions are not, like, fun and exciting, and, you know what I mean? Like, they're pretty terrible.
Left.
In fact, you might die.
Right.
Because if you just, like, put the boundaries off of what society does, then people just, like, act insane. And
you're saying it, like, hits anarchy.
Yeah,
and then, like, those people aren't focused, they're just doing that lash out at everything.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is, when you have these types of revolutions, everyone wants to think, like, this time will be different, or I'm sick of this, or I have this whatever. And my thing is, yeah, that's fine, but I think you just have to be very careful, because you have to be very careful that it doesn't get out of control. You know, which it can very easily get out of control. You know, I think we saw that with even, like, the McDonald's worker, where everyone's like, let's get her! It's like, okay, that's stupid.
That's scary.
Like, that's
me.
dumb.
Well, because, like, at what point do you, like, where does that spread is my question. So, like, let's say that, you know, it starts at that guy, right? And then it goes to that woman. And now it's like, well, does it spread to sympathizers of that guy? But does it spread to you?
Yeah,
because
well,
someone's like, well, Nate said that guy had a family. He's protecting the ruling class. It's like, well, at what point are we, like, othering everyone? Like, at what point do we say, okay, well, you know, that's not part of the goal of what we're doing here?
Well, and also my thing is, like, where does it stop? Like,
well,
is it?
I was saying.
Well, I know, but I'm saying even on the lines of CEOs. Like, is it just people are angry at CEOs in general? So now it's like, oh, here's the CEO of, you know,
Best Buy, bring back our physical movies.
Like, CEO of Best Buy, they took out physical movies, let's get them! You know, it's like, okay, but this person could have just been a random CEO.
Right.
Like, I don't know, like maybe that company did something that you didn't like, but does that mean that now we're just gonna go get them? Like, that's the dumb thing to me about this is, I understand in the sense of, like, I mean, healthcare is maybe, like, a different subject, because
it's evil.
It's, you know, people's lives are, like, literally their lives are directly affected with healthcare and stuff like that.
Well, their lives end because of
yeah, and
there's a lot of people who die.
And I think a lot of times, you know, people get angry and upset at CEOs and whatever in healthcare, and I think that stuff is maybe different. You know, in the sense where I need to just run over here.
You trying to get a checkpoint?
I'm trying to, get out of this area, because I think some people from this side will be spawning, and we need to get rid of these people. I think maybe that... Whoa, jeez! I think maybe that's a little slightly different, is because people's lives are directly affected. But my fear is just, how far are we going to take this?
Right.
You know, is it like, I went to Target today and... Oh, crap. Is it like I went to Target today and they didn't have this product I like, so now I'm angry at John Target?
Well, I'm pretty sure no. I think that... I get what you're saying, but I think that the goal... When we're looking at something like this... Now, I don't want to say my goal again, because I don't want to get in trouble here. But I think that the goal is, like, when you're looking at, like, evil. Like, you're looking at lives being taken.
Yeah. And I'm saying, like, that might be what it is now.
So you're worried it'll get to, like...
That's what I'm saying.
So you're saying, like, eat the rich, that idea, it's like it starts out as, like, this evil rich person, and then it becomes like any.
Yeah.
Okay,
because,
I get what you're saying.
Because that's how revolutions are. Revolutions get out of hand. They get to the point where it's like, this is no longer what it's about even anymore.
So when is a revolution okay? Like when... again, I'm not trying to trap you. I'm saying historically, like, what's your idea on that? Because it's like, what made the American Revolution okay, but other ones, not? Or or a modern one not? Is it literally just that you had, like, a framework of intelligent people who were ready to recreate?
I think here's... Do you
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the Founding Fathers. Like, you can hate them, but they were intelligent people.
Yeah. Well, and I think if you look at revolutions, like, for example...
That's your guy.
I think if you look at revolutions, like, for example, the three that pop into my brain right now off the top of my head, you have the American Revolution, the French Revolution, and the Russian Revolution. Those three revolutions, I think... One of the three, I think, created a very successful system. Now, you could say whatever you want about slavery or what Americans did to...
I thought you were saying slavery was the successful system.
No. I'm saying, because someone would immediately be like, well, America's evil because they had slaves. Someone immediately will say that.
I know he is me.
So it's like, say whatever you want about that stuff.
Can you get in that... bunker over there in case more spawn?
Well, I think the problem is I think there's a sniper sitting out here, and I don't know where he's at. But the sniper keeps one-shotting me, and I don't know where he is. So I'm saying I understand America's not perfect.
Right.
We understand that,
and I think we'd all argue it got worse.
Yes.
Like it was better years ago.
Yeah, but I think in general, the American system, if you actually study America, like the country and the history of America and stuff like that, I think there's a reason why America has been seen as like a world superpower, because it's successful. Not perfect, but it's been very successful.
And when I said worse, I mean like the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Like I would say where it's like...
It's become very divided.
Well, I think we hit a point in early 2000s where it was like we were hitting a point where we were like, gay rights, yeah, okay. And we were like, oh, black people, like, we had the civil rights movement, but now they're getting equal opportunities, more or less.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, it's like, good. It's like we were starting to treat everyone just like people more.
Right.
And I think now we're like, you're the other again.
They're breaking our position with mortars. Keep moving, but watch your back.
Checkpoint.
Oh, no crap. Oh, I got a checkpoint. Nice.
Did you blow the mortar out of the sky with your...
I don't know.
No! You just grenade the mortar. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I wasn't saying, like, oh, yeah, we got worse after we got rid of slavery. Like, that Martin Luther King guy, too. Like, what the hell, man? We used to be a country. I'm saying, I used to be able to come home and beat my wife if my meatloaf was bad.
Right.
I'm not saying like that. I'm saying, like, the last 20 years. Like, I'd say, like, in the early 2000s, we were on a very good trajectory, and now we're like, we all hate each other.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Right.
I mean, this is an example of that, right here. Like, what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's a very, very... Now, was there evil like that back then? Yeah. But, like, this is a very clear example of, like, everyone's angry, everyone feels downtrodden, everyone hates each other.
Right. Yeah, well, and I think, I think in general... Yeah, I mean, I agree. But I guess for me, America is an example of a revolution that has worked out. I think the Russian Revolution is an example where it worked. Like the Soviet Union for years was very successful. However, it's an example where I think a lot of evil happened with the Soviet Union, and it went bad. Okay. What the heck?
I mean, like, just to throw in here, it was built on the back of dead, like, farmers.
Well,
and
stuff. Yeah, and it's an example where it lasted for a good 100 years, but then it completely failed, because I think it wasn't designed with great intentions. And I think it was designed with intentions of, I want power.
Taking advantage of the working class.
Taking advantage of people and stuff. And it was successful for a while, but it stopped very quickly.
Well, you even look at Putin's reign now, it's very different. Like Putin, you pointed this out before, it's like, households have TVs and running cars and like all of these utilities and stuff, and Russians live normal lives. Like they're just, you know,
Okay, what in the world?
they're doing fine.
Right.
A lot of them. And, you know, you said that like one
Hey,
of the
speaking
ways...
of Putin.
Yeah. Well, that's what you pointed out, is one of the ways that Putin did it differently is like whether you agree with him morally or not, he appealed to the working class by helping them.
Yeah, right.
A lot of them.
Right.
Not all.
Not everyone, but yeah.
And he got people on his side that way because it's like all of a sudden people were more comfortable.
Yeah, he tried modernizing and helping people out.
But without mass murder.
Yeah.
Of like the people in the country.
Right.
Well, you can say what you want about Ukraine, like,
yeah,
obviously.
and you could say whatever you want about Putin and like his political rivals.
Yeah, oh yeah,
But-
and gay people.
Yeah,
like how
and-
Russia says we don't have any LGBTQ people here.
Yeah.
It's like, well, statistically, I doubt it.
Right. Yeah, like that is a thing. Okay, what is going on? What's with random one-shotting explosions?
It's because you confused dissent with disloyalty.
Okay.
You idiot.
So, and then the third revolution, the French Revolution, I think that's an example of stuff where it's just, I don't think that worked out really that well.
No.
Like, to be honest with you, I don't think the revolution, like, it worked out in the sense where it brought them out of the monarchy, I guess.
Uh-huh.
But that was just pure chaos. Like, that revolution just devolved into, like, if you could have, like, a visual representation of the Purge, that would be it.
Yeah.
Like, it was just literal chaos everywhere.
Right, it was far more violent than the American Revolution.
Yes. Okay, what?
I think that's
What just
scripted.
happened?
I think this is scripted.
Okay.
Thunder 2-1. I've got red smoke in the tree line. Stand by to engage on my mark.
Roger that. I have a visual on the red smoke. Stand by.
Thunder 2-1. Clear hot.
Roger that. Clear hot. Guns, guns, guns.
Roach, hang in there.
This is Viper 2-6. Stand by for rocket attack. Over. Roger. Hit them hard on that hill. Make sure they're down.
Come on.
Roger,
Get
I'm on
up.
it. Coming around, heading
Get up, get up. We're
250.
almost there.
Roger, I got him lined up. Gold Eagle's on the ground. Watch for snipers on thermal. Over.
You have the DSL. We got it, sir. Good. That's one less loose end. No!
Didn't other soldiers, like, see this?
Yeah, I've wondered that.
Area is sanitized. All targets destroyed. Solid copy. No movement detected. 2-6 going into holding pattern.
Like, why didn't they say anything?
I don't know why the other soldiers went along with this. I do know why Shepard did this, though.
Yeah.
You do too, right?
Yeah.
Girls! Come in! This is Price! We're under attack by Shepard's men in the Boneyard! Sir, hold the left flank! Do not trust Shepard! I say again, do not trust Shepard! Sir, get down!
Maybe he's just mad his hat is crooked.
I think so, yeah.
He's covering like a flat part of his head. So Roach was alive for that, wasn't he?
I think so, yeah.
So he just burned to death after getting shot.
Yeah.
What if he came back as the Human Torch in Modern Warfare 4?
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, what if he came back as Chris Evans himself?
Yeah, or like Jonathan Torch.
Jonathan Torch.
Thomas Torchman. Cool.
There we go.
Here, let's back out to the
Okay, nice.
Assault Makarov. All right. What?
It's like, don't mind if I do. All right.
I should probably let this play. But then I want to hear the end of what you were saying, and then we'll...
Roach, Ghost. Come in, Ghost. You copy? Does anyone copy?
They're dead, Soap. Shepard's cleaning house. I'm working my way back to you. Shepard betrayed us. Have to trust someone to be betrayed. I never did. Nikolai, come in. Do you have our location?
Inbound Price. But I am not the only one. You got Shepard's men on one side, Makarov's on the other.
We'll have to take them all out then.
Or let them take each other out. Either way, I'll see you on the other side, my friend.
Alright, so let's back up. Oh, this is a fun level. I remember
Oh
this.
yeah, this one's good.
Boneyard, right? Or that's where
Bone saw's ready.
Bone saw is hard. So you were going to say something about, like, how you want to overthrow the Russians or something? Oh, wait, no, sorry.
Well, I guess my point, just to kind of round it out a little bit, was I think revolutions, in a sense, can get chaotic, which is what the French Revolution was. It was something that I don't think was successful for the most part. I think it just devolved into just every man for himself, do what you can. Oh, that person, like, looks at wealth just out of a side eye, let's get him.
Yeah.
You know, kind of a thing. And it devolved into very much a kill anyone that we can find, and there we go. And to me, it's like, okay, I get you're angry at wealthy people, but that's not what you do. Like, that's just dumb.
Right.
That's chaotic. Now you're just killing, like, anyone, even if, like, they're the most generous person of all time. It's just like, that person's wealthy, let's get them. And I don't think that's successful. The Russian Revolution, I think, was successful, but it was successful for the wrong reasons.
And not permanently.
Because I think it was successful in the sense for short term because they were just, I want power, so they got it.
Yeah.
But then they very quickly just, like, murdered everyone in their path. And were just like, I want to get power. And eventually the people just got tired of that, just like they got tired of the monarchy in Russia too.
Right.
Because they were just tired of it. Now with America, I think America was successful because it was a group of very intelligent people that actually had a genuine plan to make their lives better.
Right.
And help people out. Now, was it perfect? No. But I think the thing you can credit with the Founding Fathers is they set in place plans and goals for the Constitution and stuff like that for change down the road. They recognized, hey, we're going to establish this country. We're not perfect. So let's establish a system so we can actively change the system in case we forget stuff or in case we want to fix things down the road. And that's something I think people don't give them credit for, is they recognize we didn't cover everything. So let's set systems in place to fix it someday down the road.
Right.
And they recognize that things will get fixed over time. Again, was it perfect? No. Is our country's history perfect? No. Mm-hmm. In fact, our country has treated Native Americans pretty poorly. Our country has treated black people. Yeah, right.
Look at Ottawa.
I know, exactly. Our country's treated black people pretty poorly, but I would say that's kind of part of the growth of the country. Mm-hmm. Now, with that being said, nowadays, I think our country has gotten to the point where a lot of capitalism has gotten to the point where people just become very money hungry, so they want to do anything and everything to get more money.
Uh-huh.
And I think the people are starting to become very tired of that.
Yeah.
So you have stuff like the CEO thing and whatever. And to me, my only issue is I understand the frustration. Uh-huh. Just be very careful as to where this goes.
Yeah, like where the frustration leads you.
Because if your frustration's just with CEO of Health Partners, okay, fine. But if your frustration is now with, I'm angry at McDonald's because they didn't get my order right, that's misguided.
Right, so you're saying that it can very quickly devolve into just anger that's undirected at anything.
Yes, and it can quickly devolve into what the French Revolution became. Uh-huh. That just became, let's murder everyone.
Yeah.
And that's my fear. I'm not saying that's where it is now.
Right.
I'm just saying that's kind of my fear, is just we'll get to the point where it's just all these CEOs are just really annoying and they're all money hungry. It's like, well, not all of them are.
Right.
Some of them are just CEOs.
So you're a sympathizer.
So I'm a sympathizer.
Get them!
Let's get them. So that's
just hear
kind
shots, right? And you go silent.
So that's kind of my whole point. Is just let's just take a step back. Uh-huh. And let's just figure out who we're exactly angry at.
Right.
As a society in general. Because with this specific guy, I get it.
Right.
I don't exactly feel that bad.
For him?
Right? Yeah, for him specifically.
But you feel bad for his kids?
I feel bad for his kids.
Should I have kept playing the level?
No, I'm almost done.
Okay, guys.
I'm just saying, let's just take a step back and figure out who we're angry with.
Right.
So we're not getting innocent people involved in this.
And I agree completely. And my final question for you was actually just I was looking at the games I own.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if G.I. Joe Operation Blackout was actually when Duke discovers his fetish for women of color. And he decides to have a reverse gangbang with them.
I think it is, yes.
Okay.
I think it is.
No, I agree with you. I think that, I think it's just sad. Like, I think that people are very tired of feeling like just like beaten down and taken advantage of, and
Yeah.
the scene as a number thing is actually real. Like,
Absolutely.
That's not like
Yeah.
a conspiracy theory or like anything. It's like, no, like a lot of these places really do just see you as a number. Because there's like, what, 7 billion humans?
Yeah.
It's not like there's only 10 of us and it's like, oh no, we lost Josh. That was 1/10 of the population.
Right.
It's like there's 1 billion Joshes. There's not really. That
Yeah.
person is technically very unique and matters. This is where I also think religion comes in handy, because like all of a sudden you have like, well, Josh was made in God's image. Now Josh is intrinsically more important than if he just was just Josh, human 7,052,000,052.
Right.
But like I think that none of these corporations operate on principles like that, like Judeo-Christian or even like moral principles. Like, you know, they don't operate on that. They operate on, oh, I see dollar bills.
Right.
Money. And that's where I think the problem is it's like, it's an extension of what you said about video games. Like, we were at Target today, and you said something interesting to me, which I thought was true, which is I said, like, I think it's sad that, like, remember when we used to go in this store and, like, there were all these video games you could buy and there was, like, fun movies and stuff, and it's like, now it's all gone mostly. Mm-hmm. And you said, like, yeah, because business people became in charge of it, and they only care about money. They don't care about money and fun.
Yeah, right.
And that's where I think a lot of this stuff has come from, was like, I think you probably had some good intentions with health insurance when it started. It's like, hey, we're going to help people and we're going to make money.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, we're going to make money.
Yep.
It's like, what about helping people? What? That's not our job. Our job is to run a successful business.
Can the people give us money? Yeah. Okay, then we'll help them.
And it's like, but what about the people who can't? No.
Yeah. Screw you.
And that's where I think the anger has come from, of like, okay, fine, you're going to condemn me to death, then I'm going to, you know, do this to you.
Yeah.
And I think that it's like, it's very dangerous, like you said, but it's like, I am not shocked.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, you're not surprised it's gotten to this point.
Yeah, but I do wonder, like, how you get out of it.
Yeah.
Because I think neither way works. Like, I think every evil person you get rid of, not to say that, like, you never, like, that it's never, you know, a thing, like, oh, well, he's a serial killer, don't put him on death row, like, there will be another serial killer. I'm not saying that, but a lot of times with these, like, corporations, someone else evil takes their place. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I'm also, like, just standing and, like, the system doing nothing also isn't doing anything.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's got to be some solution to it. I'm just probably not smart enough to be the person to come up with it. Which I think is probably where that Founding Fathers thing comes in, is like when you have a bunch of people who want to make a change, but they're not informed enough to do it.
Yeah.
Then it's like, well, you got rid of a prior system that was bad, and now you don't have a system.
Right. I mean, I think the fix to it is just, now this is easier said than done, but the fix to it is just having these CEOs just not be greedy.
Right.
But, you know, like, and again...
Well, so you're saying having morality.
Yeah, exactly.
Which you can't force people to have.
Right. So that's kind of the fix to it, unfortunately. And I guess if a positive could come out of this, hopefully other CEOs around the country and the world look at this and kind of go, oh, crap.
Yeah.
Okay, why are people angry at these people? Okay, maybe we should fix that.
That's something Bill Burr said, is he said, like, you know, all these people, I think he called them pussies. He said, like, they're taking their pictures off their websites and they're running away. And he said, like, I kind of think you should be scared because you're taking advantage of people, and you should be worried if you treat people that way that someone's going to come along and do something to you.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I feel like, not that you should have to live in fear, but that you should think about, like, well, how do I treat people? Like, wasn't that the whole point of, like, Joker? Like, the first Joker movie?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people were like, yeah, like, I'm gonna jerk it to this. Or, like, oh, yeah, this is, like, celebrating terror. But it's like, the whole point was, like, look at this guy who got kicked over and over again. We're not justifying what he did, but is it a shock that he did it?
Right.
No. And that was supposed to be the point. Mm-hmm. And I think people don't they don't get it. It's like they never have understood that point, and I don't get why.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm done. I know you have to leave. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I
I don't know. It's just kind of a sad situation, I think, all around.
Yeah.